Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins, and I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. My pronouns are he, him, and today I am wearing rainbow glasses and a green-colored shirt for a green-colored service. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone watching us on YouTube this morning. Please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining us from. If you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood are you in? Or if you're elsewhere, what city you're in. So today we have a special worship service for you. Welcome to the Climate Justice Revival worship service. This morning we are doing things a little differently. We are joining with congregations all over the country for a time of renewal and recommitment at the intersection of the climate crisis and the deep justice commitments of our congregation. We saw again the urgency of the climate crisis this week with how Hurricane Helene strengthened suddenly in the Gulf. Our hearts and thoughts are with all those impacted by this storm, especially all those in Western North Carolina. Together, we can move past systems and cultures of extraction to usher in a new era with love and justice at the center. We protect what we love. So during this morning's worship service, we will be remembering our love for earth, air, water, fire. We'll be tapping into our love for people, especially those first and most impacted by climate disruption. We will be celebrating all of creation and recommitting our care and protection. Let's begin with breath and air. I invite you to notice your breathing, however easy or labored it might be. Give thanks for those gathered with you, and give thanks for air always present, supporting all life. And now the prelude prepares us for worship. Our chalice is lit this morning by Tegan and his grandmother, Elizabeth. We light our chalice in Midtown, Oklahoma City, on land that was home to first Americans, including the Apache, Caddo, and Wichita, on land that was taken from the Muskogee and Seminole and other removed and relocated peoples. We light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope. And some additional chalice lighting words for you today for the occasion from Reverend Megan Foley. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalice, we are doing more than moving a bit of flame from a little stick to our favorite candle. When Unitarian Universalists light our chalices, we are showing what happens when we harness the power of fire. Fire is one of our world's most sacred elements, perhaps because it always causes change. Fire warms and feeds. Fire destroys and illuminates. With a bit of attention and care, fire works with us to reveal, to show, literally, to illuminate. Fire helps us to see and to survive. And so fire is an especially sacred symbol today at our climate justice revival, because we are in need of change. We are in need of warmth and substance, and we need to clear a bright new path for ourselves and the world. May this cup of captured fire be a symbol today of our passion, our care, our brilliance in the face of great need. Like fire, we are powerful. Like fire, we create change. May it be so.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. And welcome to the 2024 UUA Climate Justice Revival Session. My name is Lois Picorni. I hope many of you recognize me. I sure recognize many of you. I have been a member of this congregation for a long time, and I've been a participant in the Sustainable Living Group for at least half that time. In terms of height, I'm on the short side. In terms of age, I'm on the old side, recently retiring as a psychologist. So I identify with being a proud church member, an environmentalist, a human services type, and I also identify with being female. You may notice a little something different about my appearance today. This beautiful red gash between my lip and my nose. I was reading a great book about turning our backyards into farms. And I got so excited, I got a dream about working with this great big chicken, and somehow I went to grasp the chicken, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. And I hit my kind of multi-edged night table on the way, so you understand. It's nicely placed, so if I wanted to put a black bandage there, you might mistake me for someone else. Well, I am proud and somewhat fearful about presenting in today's service. As the title Revival suggests, this is not an ordinary service. It has a special focus and a special purpose. Revival connotes an emotional uplift, an investment of energies. We are wanting to stir up our emotions, to produce greater heat and clarify towards the great crisis, clarify our intent towards the great crises in our communities and in our world today: climate change and social injustice. We want to use our newly activated energies to work together, focusing, doing good work and hard work that may never have been done before. Things that we may need to think about, disagree about, and finally come to agreement about, and then go to work. And we want to treat each other respectfully as we do so. For this revival service, the leadership of this UUA church has decided to join 300 other UUA congregations across the country. Organized by the UUA and the Earth Ministry, this revival will encourage the churches to hold strong in recognizing and addressing the climate and social justice issues. The crises of our times are perpetuated by the climate change and by our other social justice concerns. Together, the impact of all is accelerated. Climate change and social injustices magnify and accelerate the effects of the other. Unprepared people and congregations will be anxious and feel overwhelmed. Prepared people and congregations will be more ready to stand together, use their developed resources, and address the problems effectively. Additional UU programming occurring after today will be scheduled to help us envision a future with ongoing progress and will share ways for us to continue our work with additional heartfelt commitment and additional skills and interpersonal communication and with shared community resources. Why am I a bit, or more than just a bit, fearful to introduce this revival? Well, I am no expert in these matters, but I am convinced of their reality. My background as a longtime UU church member and many years sustainable living participant and career clinical psychologist simply make me a concerned citizen, like all of you. Today's service will include the participation of other church members, the input of the UUA and social ministry through their materials, and the input of scholars through their research and writings. Come, let us worship together. Come, let us begin our climate justice revival.
Thank you, Lois. We are bringing back our tradition of sharing the welcome. Take the next couple of minutes to greet your neighbors sitting around you, preferably someone you did not come with. If you're joining us online, get a conversation going in our chat. When you hear the piano begin to play, please begin to gather back together. We're going to work on this. We're going to keep working on this. may be seated. So our story today is one of my favorites, What Do You Do With a Problem by Kobe Yamada. I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it, I didn't ask for it, but I really didn't like having a problem. But it was there. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I thought. Well, I wanted to make it go away. I shoot it, I scowled at it, I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it takes away all of my things? I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this and I worried about that. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. Isn't that funny? I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself. But it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time. I didn't feel good at all. I just couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered it had something beautiful inside. My problem had an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and to grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. The end. So now is the time in our worship service where we sing our children, youth, and teachers off to their religious exploration classrooms, where today our preschoolers and our elementary schoolers are talking about how to welcome each and every person into the classroom. Our middle schoolers are talking about day and night, and our high schoolers are continuing their exploration of the Twilight Zone. Please join us in singing Go Now in Peace.
Good morning. I am Carrie Moore. I am a new member on the Board of Trustees. I am a 70-year-old height challenged woman with graying hair, and I go by the pronouns of she, hers, and hers. And I have a black and white top on and a pair of jeans. I also volunteer as a CASA, so our Change for Change is very personal and meaningful to me. Every Sunday, we take an offering. Since 2002, The cash and designated checks for this offering have gone directly to an external nonprofit organization doing good work. Our Change for Change partner for the month of September is CASA of Oklahoma County. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. CASA's mission is to provide training for volunteers to champion the individual best interest for children that are in the foster care system. CASA serves as a caring and constant adult that provides a voice for the children during this very traumatic time of their lives. The goal is to find a safe and permanent home for every child and youth. Funding will be used to support the program's expenses related to recruiting, screening, training, and supervising the CASA volunteers. For those of you in our sanctuary today, in just a moment we will be passing our offering plate. And if you're watching online, please make your gift by sending a check to First Unitarian. Just place Change for Change in the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, oneuc.org. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Please join us in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Let us begin by engaging in a period of silent reflection. And now join us for the prayers of the people and planet. When called to respond, please join with the words in your order of service. Let us reimagine a new era together. Fear stifles imagination and limits our capacity for relationships that embrace our beautiful and abundant humanity. Fear creates cynical circles of supremacy and extractive relationships with each other and our planet. Reimagining together is how we overcome fear. Reimagining together is how we build new relationships and a new era, putting love at the center. Today, especially, we put love at the center of our work for climate justice. Let us reimagine a new era together.
Beginning right here, in this congregation, we pray for ourselves that we open our hearts to be companions, caring for a hurting world and committing to create a world of flourishing.
Let's imagine a new era together.
With reverence for the great web of life with humility, we acknowledge our place within it. We commit to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. So we pray for land, ecosystems, all species, the entire natural world.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
We pray for justice, for local frontline communities who are impacted first, worst, and longest by climate change and who face systemic oppression.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our reimagining, we gain the capacity to recommit to communities of mutual support, which are the building blocks of an ecosystem of mutual survival. Let us reimagine a new era together. We look towards each other, people of faith, good conscience, and spirit, leaning on one another and trusting in the hope we can create together. Let us reimagine a new era together. We make right the wrongs of the past, not by ignoring them, but by doing the difficult work of dismantling the oppressive systems and behaviors that feed our illusion of separation. May we live in a way that honors our interdependence and acts in accordance with our interconnection with all people and the planet. Let us
reimagine a new era together.
As we begin in a local committed communities of support, we find the strength and courage to widen our circle of concern, resisting hierarchies of value and ideologies of scarcity.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
In our widening and deepening connection, we discover the relationships in the salt-kissed islands of Kiribati, the solid and frozen ground of Newtok, Alaska, and the life-giving valley of the Rio Guapinol.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
With humility and commitment acknowledged on our own part in so much harm to our relationship, saltwater encouragement, dying permafrost, and the poison refuge of illegal mining.
Let us reimagine a new era together.
May we set down the fear. May our courage to face the intersecting systems of harm and lead the strength and creative intersections of practice of love and healing that all may flourish.
Let us reimagine a new era together. Reimagining together, we build new relationships. We put love at the center of climate justice work, and we commit. Let us reimagine a new era together. Amen and blessed be.
Let us open to our teal hymnal 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep. Drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in a beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Hello again. The UUA's schedule for today's service includes a great deal of elasticity. That is, time for each congregation to use to meet each's perceived needs. As a longtime member of this congregation and of its sustainable living organization, I have observed that this congregation is quite diverse in its thoughts on many topics, including the topic of climate change. And indeed, I personally find it is hard even for an individual, such as myself, to remain centered and consistent on this topic. Oh, on a beautiful Oklahoma day with the great sun shining against a pure blue sky with only a white cumulus cloud or two in view, with good temperatures for hiking, fishing, or gardening, with enticing advertisements for sales of new cars, trucks, and vans, and advertisements of cruises and other exciting entertainment items in prosperous areas, neighborhoods with no material wants. It is hard to remember that troubles lie just around the corner. That trouble is already visiting many of our community members, and that global warming is progressing at a rate underestimated by many scientists. With that in mind, I would like to share with you writing from Bill McKibben, a well-accepted authority on this issue. I will be quoting liberally from Bill McKibben in this service, so often that I will simply raise my hand each time I use his words. Dr. McKibben has made 3 main points that underscore the same message that the UUA is presenting to us. It seems to me that climate change is a kind of test of whether the big brain was a good adaptation or not. It can get us in a lot of trouble, and now we'll find out if it can get us out of that trouble. His second point, his guess is that in the end, the answer lies less in the size of the brain than in the size of the heart it is attached to. His third point, there are deep, deep questions about human solidarity that we're going to answer one way or another in the next few years. Okay, let's review Dr. McKibben's points in a little more detail. The trouble we have gotten into is climate change. We can also call it climate justice because its greatest catastrophic effects may be on people without the resources to combat even the most elemental effects by themselves, such as buying an air conditioner or moving out of the worst hit areas. Whoops, excuse me. And the effects may fall hard on peoples that did little to bring it all about. We've poured more carbon into the atmosphere than 1989 than in all of our human history before it. As a result, in the summer of 2023, we don't find the summer from hell. We found the type of summer that sort of is hell. We've had the hottest day measured on our planet, and probably the hottest day ever for the last 125,000 years. The hottest week, the hottest month. The temperature of the North Atlantic Ocean is off the charts. As a result, we are seeing epic and killer heat waves and fires. We've raised the temperature about 2 degrees Fahrenheit so far, but we're on track to raise it 5 or 6 degrees Fahrenheit. And that won't be 3 times as bad as what we've done so far. It'll be worse than that because the damage goes up exponentially. We think now that every 10th degree Celsius moves another 140 million people out of the kind of prime human habitat zone on this planet. If we don't turn this problem around, if we allow the temperature to keep going up, then in fairly short order, we're not going to have civilizations like the ones we're used to, because we can't absorb an endless amount of this kind of violent chaos and flux. Bill McKibben expresses an important thought about the solution in this manner. His guess is that in the end, the answer to solving problems created by our big brains is less in the size of the brain than in the size of the heart. Why is that? Ought we to be surprised by that answer? Why doesn't he think the answer lies in producing more wind turbines, installing more solar power units, shutting down more coal-fired plants, making more efficient our hydroelectric dams? It seems that that is the conundrum for mankind and for the ages. We have the ability to install enough, shut down enough, make technologies efficient enough, if we had the full power of the human race working together in the same direction to do so. And as Jesus said, the poor will always be with us, but the poor will not always be as poor as when there is great racial and ethnic and other interpersonal discrimination, and when climate change makes day-to-day living less bearable and makes some formerly habitable areas now uninhabitable. When greater inequities of incomes decrease the buying power of low wages, when the heat of an unair-conditioned home or work area can literally kill you. And so, Dr. McKibben notes there are deep, deep questions about human solidarity that we are going to answer one way or the other in the next few years. We will need to have overriding concern for human willness and the will to pull for it. Here's a little sports analogy that I think I thought of myself. May have come from someone else. Imagine two really, really good basketball teams. Each team, of course, does its best, uses the best players, uses its best coaches, devises the best strategy. The final score may be 105 to 102. Wow, what a high-scoring game. How exciting, since the score is so close. Well, we can't have that kind of score for our work addressing climate and social justice. We don't want a close score of winning or losing. We want to fight for the same goal, so our score will be at least 105 plus 102, which would equal 207. That would be 207 points for social and climate justice and 0 against. If we are all fighting the fight together, we may be able to make real change possible. And it takes us all doing our part. We must remember we are all on the same team. Thank you. That concludes my remarks. I'm very pleased to introduce Dirk to this podium now, because he knows more about this stuff in more details than I do, and he's going to speak especially to the state of the state. That is the situation in the state of Oklahoma. Dirk.
had to stick with the order of service because it meant I got to sit up here to listen to the choir sing for just a second. So hi, I'm Dirk Neitzel. I am 41, male, wearing a hat because I don't like light. And everything on my body was bought used. If you haven't shopped the half price sale at REI, you're missing out. I'm supposed to talk about state of the state, and I want this to be as positive as possible. It's kind of funny, I had 6:30 booked on my schedule Friday night to write this speech, and at 6:36, this guy, Kevin, where'd you go, Kevin? That I haven't talked to since middle school, reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey man, what's up? I heard about your Unitarian church, and tell me about it. And I said, Kevin, aren't you a professional ecologist? Because I'm in the middle of writing a speech for that church about climate change. Tell me what's going to happen to Oklahoma, and boom, bullet point, bullet point, bullet. I didn't have to use AI. I had Kevin. So he's relocated back to Oklahoma from New York. Great guy. And my message back to him was, I'm so glad you're here. We needed you. So thanks for coming today. You didn't know you were going to get called out. Now come confess your sins. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so climate change, Oklahoma. Climate change, when we think of this statistically, we're thinking about heat, right? Temperatures go up. Okay, what's the principle? I don't know, I'm asking. What's the principle for UU that's interconnectedness? The interconnected web? Do we know our numbers? Nobody knows your numbers? Okay, homework. There's a principle for UU about interconnected web. Okay, so temperatures are also related in the atmosphere to moisture, right? So temperature goes up, moisture goes up, goes down. There's all sorts of things that happen. Okay, Oklahoma is a representative set of what's happening across the globe. So as heat goes up, we have plants dying, moisture gets more, less moisture overall, but when it does come, you get flooding because the ground's not ready for it, okay? So that's the bad news. We know it's happening. I'm not here to, you could look it up, right? It's the information age. I have nothing to tell you that you couldn't find out yourself as far as that knowledge goes. It's the motivational piece, okay? So first I want to do the positive. This is a UU church, and we are affecting change in Oklahoma. So I want to recognize a couple people. Anybody ever heard of a global society called the Sierra Club? Yeah, did you know that we have an Oklahoma chapter? Did you know the leader of that chapter is in our church today? Will you stand up, Stephen? Guys, we are doing things in this church and we need your help. So jump in, talk to Stephen, okay? One of the top things you can do to help fight against climate change. Number one, your lower usage of fuel for your house and your car. Any EV drivers in the house or hybrids? Will you please stand up, guys? Going green is cool. Stand up. Thank you. Any people that go solar at their house or wind power? Stand up. Let's clap for them. Let's go. If you're looking for an EV vehicle, talk to these people. If you're looking for solar, talk to these people. All right, another big one is eat less meat. And I'm going to talk about baby steps because habits are important. If you don't want to go vegan tomorrow, maybe go vegetarian. And if you don't want to go vegetarian all the time, go meatless Monday, right? Any vegetarians or vegans in the house, please stand up. Talk to these, stand up, get up there. Did you notice they're all smiling? It's fun. Like it's cool, it's fun to be green. It's not as hard as we thought it was. Next Sunday, October 6th, write this down. The Red Earth Vegan Festival is next Sunday at Anthem Brewery. You don't have to be vegan. They're going to have all sorts of crazy good vegan food that you wouldn't know is vegan unless they told you. So please take your friends next Sunday to the Red Earth Vegan Festival, okay? And talk to Stephen about the Sierra Club. The last one I wanted to say was planting natives and doing native gardening. Any native gardeners in the house or people that plant trees, stand up. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. Okay. And again, guys, it's fun. It's okay. So, habit stacking. I wanted to do this one real quick. To form a new habit, you need these. This is a quick positive sandwich. One is the cue. The second one is the habit. The last one is the reward. Okay. So there's a cue. Every time thing A happens, I'm going to do thing B. And then I'm going to reward myself for it. So think of the different things you could do to help the planet and habit stack it to where it makes it accessible to you. Have a cue, have a habit, and then do a reward, okay? Start small and then grow into it, right? There was a movement, was it this year or last year? The Stanley Cups, not the hockey one, the reusable container. Was that this year or last year? Right? And people were making fun of everybody for it, but guys, guess what? They've got the Stanley Cup, and yeah, they're fighting over it, but they're not using plastic water bottles, right? So let them have the Stanley Cups. Let them have them in every color. Let them pay $1,000 for one, right? But they're not using disposable water bottles. Get it, okay? The last thing I wanted to say is, hey, we can do this all ourselves, but we have to influence others to do it in a positive way. How do we do that? Number one is be an example, not just to do it yourself, but to prove the concept for others and figure out ways to make it accessible to others, okay? Financially accessible, geographically accessible, figure out how to make it more accessible. And we do that by doing it ourselves first and showing people it can be done, okay? There's a movement for instant gratification. Have we seen it in society? Yep. Is it going away? Nope. Use it. If somebody's out picking up trash and wants to post about it on Facebook, like it. We're going to like their pictures at a sporting event, at a concert, of their cat and their dinner. It's okay for them to be a little bit righteous about their volunteering. Give them the like, because guess what? Then they're going to go do it again. Right? So it's okay to be instant gratification and use that for other people. Support them. Find the celebrations. Okay? So that's what I wanted to say. The state of the state is that it's happening. There's positive change happening. It's a crazy world out there, and the news says it's getting worse, and the scientists say it could definitely get worse, but we're doing things. It can be done. There's people in this room doing it. Get to know them, make a buddy, and let's go.
In the spirit of sustaining and reviving the climate, let us stand and gather at the river with hymn 1046 of the Teal hymnal.
Shall we gather at the river where bright angels have trod, with his crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. On the margin of the river, washing up its silver spray, we will walk and worship ever all the happy golden day. Yes, yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river, which flows by the throne of God. And we raise a shining river, lay we every burden spread. grace our spirits will deliver and provide a robe and a crown. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with the melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows by the throne of God.
We extinguish the chalice flame, but not the light of love and community which burns in our hearts.
The benediction. The benediction was originally to come to you from the mouth of, or from the words of Reverend Peggy Clark. But reading it over, as a Unitarian, I realized I needed to make several changes to make it true to our situation. So when I add the voice of Lois, I will raise my hand. Okay. I hope I can read this through one of my lenses. Knowing how quickly the flame of truth may be extinguished if we unwittingly listen to dissenters and believe them. How strong the chalice of friendship may be broken. Ah, Lois. If we do not recognize the strength and primacy of this fellowship cannot be easily broken. So let us be vigilant in faith. Let us keep peace in our hearts, and let us make care for one another the watchword of our lives together. So our light continues on everywhere into the world. Our light joins other lights everywhere. Hope and healing are needed. Let us go in peace to love and serve this world and one another.